DWTT coming to you from the Emirates. But I am at the arena. There you go.
Oh, hello. I was quite getting into that, like when all the trumpets started playing. Anyway, oh yeah. Yeah, so hello. Welcome to episode 50 of the trip. It is DWTT. Gary, of course. I said that with way too much enthusiasm. And I am joined by Captain Surprised. Something shocking him right now. It's Mr. Sam Greenwood, everyone.
Hi, Gary. Gary, I think you've got a bit of Michael Jackson syndrome going on.
Hey, everybody!
There he is.
Jackson.
Lock your children up. Lock your children up. Where's Bubbles? Get Bubbles.
He's down at West Ham.
You're mighty white, Gary. You're mighty white.
It doesn't matter.
What's going on in Neverland? Have you put any new rides in the Neverland?
I love Neverland. Come on. Anyway, so Colonel Ward in at the dot, but he quite rightly speculated. How right was I? I knew it would be you two, as Gary's gone to watch an overpriced friendly.
Colonel, Colonel, he's got some brains.
He has, but to be fair, that is the one opportunity those individuals generally get to watch Arsenal. So it's going to be expensive, but not as costly as it would to watch them 20 times in England.
True. No, it's understandable. Got to grab the chances when they come along.
That's how you cultivate fans, sadly. As silly as it sounds, it's like because then Americans go to watch teams over there, and then they latch onto them through. Remember that time that I went to see Arsenal at the MetLife or whatever? But
yeah, exactly. It's going be one for the grandchildren. That is
exactly. Like I'll tell my grandchildren about the time I watched England play Norway in friendly at Wembley as a school trip, and it was 0-0, and I wished I was dead.
Wow, you wish you was dead as well. It must have been a great trip.
It was terrible. It was just I wasn't into football at the time, and it was goalless. So, and I was 9. So, how do you think I felt about it?
Well, you felt suicidal. It must have been a really bad game.
It just happened. It just happened to be Norway. Convenient the story, but no, it really was.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad games back then. A lot of those 0-0 games they were so boring. Bloody hell, yeah.
Yeah, just happened. I just happened to be there. But how are you, Mr. Greenwood?
I'm good, thank you very much, Mr. Tom. Having a decent Saturday so far. Yeah, we'll see what the crowd brings into our chat room here.
And the crowd has some scouts. I actually don't know if he is from Liverpool, but I believe he supports Liverpool. Revenite FC with big up Tom and Sam. Apologies if you aren't scouts. No, I'd hate to be cold called. I'd hate it for people to say I was from Liverpool if I wasn't. It'd be really upsetting.
I don't think he's originally from Liverpool, but he's a Liverpool supporter. Currently lives on that big rock Gibraltar down in British territory of Spain, enjoying all the sunshine. Probably getting melted like a shit candle at the moment.
Got the answers to our questions. Nowhere near scouts, born in Leicester, lives in Gibraltar. Well remembered, Sam.
Yeah. I remember old Johnny boy.
How are you, Colonel, Mr. Revenite? Yeah, I noticed we had some rain here. I don't know about you, Sam, but we had some rain today. Which has been quite nice, obviously, for the
nice and refreshing.
It certainly is. Humidity is still quite high, but dropping down. So I believe there is a contest going on right now at the Elna Stadium. I believe they're an electricity company, between the Mighty Leeds and Monaco.
The Mighty Leeds, bloody hell! You just stuck that in there, didn't you? The Mighty Leeds.
They've, believe it or not, Monaco have made it a habit of slumming it up in West Yorkshire. They did last year as well. But
Monaco, they must go. What is this place? I'm used to big yachts and casinos and Ferraris and Lamborghinis. And here I see a Fiat Punto and an old man selling me fish and chips for $2.99. What is this?
If you can get chips for fish and chips for $2.99, I'd snap your arm off, because it don't
but it
cost
comes off
anything
the street in the back of the wheelie bin at Aldi in Leeds Centre, outside the Ellen Road.
I love how you sound like every mysterious foreign good guy that appears in a movie, where like his intentions are ambiguous. Yeah,
that's exactly what I sound like. I'll be, oh my God, where am I? Is this where the devil wants me to die? In Ellen Road? What is this place? Old stadium falling apart?
No, Ellen Road is where your dreams go to die. I can vouch
Ellen
for that.
Road, what is this place? Fish and chips in an oldie wheel bin? What is this?
I'd say hello to Ange, who did a show yesterday on, I believe it was on Arsenal. What else would it be on? Of course it's on Arsenal. Every show ever on the history of the internet's about Arsenal, apart from the ones that ain't. Revenite says, luckily paying a fortune to keep my AC on.
So big up to Ange. Ange is in the chat. Big up, Ange.
Yeah.
Had a good show again the other day.
You can't connect to the team close to you. That's why I support Arsenal, because of family. And I can't imagine myself watching Al Hilal, because they have the best players.
Al Hilal.
Where do we even start to unpack that? I mean, he's right. He's right, but there are a lot of people out there, because they have no loyalty. It's like basketball, how fans support players more than teams. Like they'll support whoever LeBron James plays for example.
Yeah, follow them around, don't they? Yeah. Exactly,
because social media and all that. Football's become more like that. Like people support Messi more than they support Barcelona, the institution.
Messi scored the winning free kick yesterday.
Did he?
Yep.
Wow.
Debut game, winning free kick.
I don't know why I made that sound like a surprise.
Only 2 minutes left of injury time as well, so, super impactful.
Yeah. Chris Nix is here with, hey, my lovelies.
Hey, Chrissy boy.
I'm sure that's not how he talks, but embellished a little. Revenite, I believe, is enjoying your gritty take on Jean Reno. I believe that's who I was thinking.
What is this? What do you call this place? Leeds? You should call it leak, because everywhere it looks like everything leaks.
Now, because this would never normally be allowed to happen on the road trip and anything that Gary does really, but because he's given me the passwords and the codes and everything, you're all captive audience. You're all hostage to basically what I put on the screen. So I just thought, why not? Why not just quickly go over the team that the Mighty Leeds have put out today against Monaco? Right?
Mighty Leeds.
The Mighty Leeds. Let me bring it in here. See, this functions more of a.
Hey,
what's the word?
I saw him yesterday.
Are we likely to keep?
I saw him on that picture yesterday. He tried to steal my car. He tried to steal my rent-a-car. A rent-expensive car coming from Monaco. And he steal it, the little bastard.
obviously our new signing, Ethan Ampadu. Yeah, we made a signing, Sam.
What's his
Signed
name?
Ethan Ampadu. Ethan Ampadu. He was on. He was one of. He's one of the Chelsea players that basically never played for Chelsea because they just kept loaning him out.
Ampadu, is that like a children's song? Ampadu, Ampadu, take off your shoe and give it to.
I thought they made songs in the 70s, but then I thought I might be thinking about Xanadu.
Oh yeah, Xanadu. Yeah, that's it. Ampadu, Xanadu. Let's go and get your shoe.
But yeah, so that Gray. He was. I think he's about 17 now. But he was one of the lads that was on the bench when
Is that
he
a
played
skull?
with COVID.
Is that a skull with like an arrow going through the nose on his arm there?
I believe so. With that's all. If anyone don't know, that's Liam Cooper, or as we call him, League One Liam, because he's played in League One.
Bloody hell!
And he often plays like he should still be there. Interestingly, in terms of like who you're selling, who you're not, it's interesting that we're playing Sinistera.
Is Yelda from Norway?
I believe he is. Let me double check. I know we got him from Celtic. He's very good. Yeah, he is from Norway.
Yeah, I thought I recognised the name.
He played for, but he never played in Norway. Only at youth level. Played for Rosenborg.
Have you seen the absolute mess Kerner was made of Leeds on his channel?
I've watched a bit of it, but I
he's got new
know that
midfield.
he sold all the players.
He's got Milner and Özil in your midfield, and he's wondering why they can't win.
He sold everyone. He got 35 million for Pat. Was it Brighton who you managed to con out of? He got 35 million for Bamford. We'd be lucky if we get 35p. Road trip needs special takeover. But yeah, no, seriously. What I find with Hello BX, welcome.
Power to the people, brother. Power to the people.
Interested in the goalkeeper because I was certain we was going to sell him. He definitely wanted to leave, but I think when you've conceded over 150 goals in 2 years, the queue to buy you is probably not as big as you thought it was going to be. So
we're talking too much about Leeds here. Leeds are shit.
They're not. We're the greatest team in the land. It's just not recognised in the football table. Literally
just
the best.
Football matrix.
The best. Donald Trump's favourite team. The best.
Who have you got on the bench there? You've got people that don't even play football.
Klassen is on the bench. Cody Drama, he's very good. No, he does. He's played for Luton last season.
He's a netball player, he is.
No. Shackleton, Gelhardt. Nono's on the bench. Joseph, Bamford, Yubby, Bate. Yeah. Good lads. Good young lads on that bench and Bamford. So I believe it's goalless. So I don't know what.
Leeds are going to lose this one, obviously.
We should do. It's goalless after 12 minutes, so at least. So, but because we treat everyone equally on the road trip, all right. Gary doesn't subscribe to that. Gary always believes that it should be like 33% Tom, 33% Sam, and then 34% Gary. That's 100, doing maths. But not here, equal. Yeah, everyone's equal, but I'm more equal than others. I'll tell you this, I took the liberty of reading the the Evening Standard, all right? And this is what they predict the Arsenal 11 will be tonight at the MetLife. Does that sound feasible?
Looking at that 11, I would say it's definitely a feasible 11 because we're playing Man United and he's probably not just going to put out all the, the people who are least likely to be starting games. he's going to want to put out a few strong names. So I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, with preseason, it's always going to be a bit of a lottery anyway, right? Because you don't know who's really fit and who he wants to have an extra look at or blah, blah, blah. So, but yeah, that does seem like a feasible lineup. It really does. Yeah. A bit surprised to see Tommy Asu play, I suppose, but I suppose apart from him, everything looks pretty feasible.
Okay. I could bring up the predicted Man United team, but I don't care. You don't care. Fuck them.
We don't care about that United. No way.
Yeah, the false United, the pretenders to the name.
We don't like them. We don't like them.
Well, eventually they'll be the second best United because Newcastle are going to spend enough
Yeah, that's
money
true.
that ensures that. So, yeah. I mean, you got history on your side. In 50 years' time, Newcastle are going to have more trophies than Man United, I suspect.
Very, very, very plausible. Very plausible. Because I see now United are struggling again off the field with all this Glazer malarkey. I saw there's reports now that the Glazers might not be selling after all. So, yeah.
Imagine
the more problems
shock.
they have. Tom and I agree that the more problems United find themselves in, the better the world is.
Yeah, it's true. It's 100% true. They're not my favourite team. Yeah, has to be said.
Yes, yes.
So, is it a shock to you that Pepe won't be playing?
Pepe absent. He's. I don't think he's not even in the squad. They're the guys who aren't even in the squad. Traveling at the moment because of injuries and stuff. Pepe's not there because he's going. Well, both Cedric and Pepe are out of the squad because they're hopefully negotiating transfers for them. Lokonga, Turner, and Nelson have slight injuries.
Makes sense.
Smith Rowe, Trossard, Partey, Zinchenko, Elneny, they're all in the squad now, but they're not very likely to play because of slight injury issues.
Am I right in thinking like Smith Rowe's being handled with kid gloves because of his involvement in the Euro tournament?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of an issue there with him, just giving him extra time to recuperate. And I think Trossard picked up a knock in the last game, so just going to maybe let him rest this one out. Partey, I'm not sure where he is. I know he was arrested to recuperate a bit more and flown over a bit later. Zinchenko is training, so don't know whether he'll be playing or not, but he says it's a doubt, so he's probably not quite there yet in terms of fitness. And Elneny, again, I think he's just not quite there yet. He's nearly there. He's training and everything. So, yeah.
Understandable. Just want to say hello to Taib, who's saying...
Big up, Taib.
Hello,
big up.
Hello, Sam. Yeah. He's a good lad. He's a good lad, Tim.
He's a good lad, that Taib. He's a good lad.
He's a good lad. Unlike that BX Gunner, who's just an absolute savage.
He's an absolute slag. We don't like those slags.
Slag. Just kidding, BX. You're a good lad. Just jokes. Anyway, so just thought I'd point out, you're playing at the MetLife Stadium.
Yes. New York. Is it New Jersey or New York? New Jersey, isn't it?
It's funny you say that. In 2013, they held WrestleMania at the MetLife Stadium, and they decked it out as if like, we're back in New York. We're finally doing another show in New York. It's like it's not in New York though. It's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Like, how stupid do you think we are? Like, we can read a map. Like, you're not in New York. Then 6 years later, they came back and did WrestleMania 35 in the MetLife Stadium. And this time, they were prepared. This time, they went, we're in the shadow of New York. It's like, so you're not in New York still. Like, why can't you say you're in New Jersey? like, what have you got against New Jersey? Like, you'll use their stadium, but you won't name them. It's right.
It obviously doesn't
Jersey,
sound as good as New York, does it?
No, it's not. It's not. To be fair, it's because that company like built itself up out of New York, so they want to take any opportunity.
It's like
we're back home.
It's like I remember back in the day when I was looking for trips to go to New York, and I was looking for places to stay, and all the cheap places, they said, "Oh, it's New York, but actually they were geographically in New Jersey, and that's why they were cheaper. But because it only takes like half an hour to get into New York, it's like, yeah, it's New York, but it's not. You're in New Jersey. And they always try to trick you like that with these places to stay.
Yeah, because obviously it's a sexier name, isn't it? I mean, New Jersey's like the equivalent of the armpit.
Yeah.
But then by the same token, the reason the stadium is in New Jersey is because there's no room to build it in New York. Otherwise,
yeah, you already got stadiums. You already got stadiums in New York, haven't you? So
I don't think the Yankee Stadium is quite on the level of this MetLife, though. It's massive.
Yes, Yankees not really it's not really for football either. I don't think so.
They do play football in it though, because I believe they convert it for the New York City team.
Do they? All right, okay. They play at Yankee Stadium.
I could be wrong, but I think that is actually the case. Let me just quickly. New York City.
They're not at what's it called, Shea Stadium, where the Mets play.
Because I think they built it with the purpose that it can be converted into, New York City FC playing the Yankee Stadium.
Oh yeah, that's right.
If I remember rightly, they played a friendly there, did they not? Like Man City played there.
That's right. I'm showing my age because I forgot that they actually made a new Yankee Stadium.
Yes,
they rebuilt it. I'm thinking of the old one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they definitely couldn't have played in the old one. But you're right. I'm so upset I'm missing the massive Gunner party NYC having two jobs.
I bet you are upset. BX, I bet that was a nice party.
And then Yankee Stadium's pretty huge. And then New York City plays there. And then Seafield.
You see, showing my age again. I forgot that it's not Shea Stadium anymore. It's the City Field or whatever they call it.
There's very few stadiums in New York, in America in general, that are named after what it's always been called. Like they're all now pick a high end bank, and it's the name of something.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The only one I'll really give exception to, I think, is in the NFL, like Heinz Field or something like that, because they've had that stadium for, I think it's like since the 70s or something. I could be wrong, but hello, Spencer in Virginia.
I see he's been whoring himself around with all the big Arsenal online celebrities lately, getting pictures with all of them.
I'm surprised he even took the time to say hello to us. Now he's mates with Don Robbie and Lee Judges, and now I'm surprised he took time for us.
He bloody hell,
he's a good lad. Good lad.
He's hauled himself up the ladder, isn't he?
Yeah, Don Robbie's going to watch his next stream.
Yep. He's going places now.
I don't blame him. It's very informative.
Going from some little crappy mine in Virginia to the top of the YouTube echelon.
He's a good lad. He's took it all in good stead. But no, seriously, it must be really cool. Like, to be this will sound really silly, but I know, like, if Don Robbie's nice to you, he's a nice guy. He's being nice, but he obviously recognises the importance to be ultra kind to American fans because he's representing your club in that country. If you get what I mean.
Yeah. He is the face of Arsenal Fan TV. Yep.
But I just mean, like, him going over there, he's literally a representative of your club.
That's what I'm saying, because he's the face of Arsenal Fan TV, which is like the official fan channel for Arsenal. So yeah, you're right. He indirectly does represent Arsenal.
But like him, definitely for the reason you said. But I just mean like any English fan out there in general is representing the club, because American opinion of the club will be based on how they are perceived or how we are perceived as English people with our club.
Yeah,
especially when the perception, and I know this firsthand from obviously the influx of American people into Leeds, is that we don't want them there. It's like, it's our sport. What are you doing? You call it soccer. It's not even the name of it, even though it technically is, because it's literally in the name of the Football Federation. But you get what I mean. It's very. It feels like an us and them thing when I personally don't want it to. I don't care.
No.
I can put it another way. If I look at Leeds fans that are being dismissive of American fans as, well, you must think the same about me because I'm not from Leeds either.
Yeah, there's that whole funny way of looking at it, isn't it? But no, I think it's now more than ever when you see over there how many American Arsenal fans there are. I think you finally start to realize and respect, not you personally, I'm saying the general you people, start to realize and respect that, you know, football is global. These major clubs are global. And just because you live in a different part of the world doesn't mean you're less of a fan, you know?
Mm. Well, like the hypocrisy I find in a lot of Leeds fans is a lot of our identity is we're a massive club, although we're not that successful. We are, you know what I mean? Like, we're not currently, and it's like we're a massive club. We should be doing better. All this, it's like, but then when Americans want to put it, it's like you're not real fans. No, so. Do you want to be massive, or do you just want to be a local entity?
No, it's that hypocrisy, really. Of, you know, it's stupid. It's stupid, you know, because
stupid.
It doesn't matter where you live. If you support a team 100%, that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because you look at, what these fans all over the world have to do to follow the games. They have to get up in the middle of the night, stay up very late. You know, the times are crazy compared to what their normal daily schedule is, you know, and that's what they put themselves through to watch Arsenal. It's hugely respectful, and, you know, there's a lot of credit that's due there, you know, and then you see the Arsenal fans, you know, whenever they have to stay up now for a friendly game, it's like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, it's so late, you know. Oh, you know, but they don't realize this is what the American fans and the Asian fans do, you know, week in, week out.
I'd like to take this opportunity to point out the main reason I was really tired at 3 a.m. during that Arsenal stream was literally because I'd been on the go for about 15 hours at that point. Because I literally came straight home and hopped on here. Because I did the wrestling show an hour earlier to accommodate the Arsenal fans that may have wanted to watch the Arsenal game. But obviously, for me personally, I'd have been happy to have come home, did show, go straight to bed. But I knew they'd want to watch it. So I did that a bit earlier, and then I was already awake. So I was like, oh, I'll go on Ryan's channel. It was good fun. But that's why when I was so tired though that when it got to like Arsenal got their 5th goal, I didn't even know or care. I was just like, Ryan, I don't care, just end the fucking stream. I'll go to bed.
It's like you're torturing yourself the last hour there.
Yeah, I was stubborn, but I was like, right, who scored? Oh, fuck off. But good fun. Not a proper fan. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think you have to always see. Obviously, I'm not going to agree with that because I don't go and watch Leeds every week, and I don't think that lessens me as a fan. Just because you're lucky enough to be able to afford going every week, or local enough that it doesn't cost you your time like it would cost a lot of other people, doesn't mean you're more of a fan. You're just fucking lucky.
Yeah. everyone's in a different financial situation, right? Some people are lucky enough and rich enough to be able to follow Arsenal everywhere all the time, take that time and spend that money. But 95% of people aren't that lucky, have that privilege.
Obviously, if I won the lottery tonight, one of the first things I'm buying is a Leeds season ticket, or Leeds tickets, because I don't think you get a Leeds ticket right now. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then I'd be in a financial position, and in that, with respect, if you've won the lottery, you probably have a lot more free time because you're immediately like going to jack working and stuff like that. So then, then I can follow Leeds everywhere. But obviously, people are not in that situation. I do think a lot of the terms people put on being a football fan are often douchey, and the thing is, like, we could say all this, but we've all probably done it when it suits our argument against someone else, and then afterwards you sit there and think, oh, but if that was said to me, I'd fucking argue against it or whatever. But just people were shitty generally, as a whole. But
it is funny. It is funny though with these you get it most with the old guys. The old guys, the guys now who are like 60 plus, because they feel very like protective,
entitled.
And entitled, and like anyone new or foreign, they don't like that, and it's so funny because like, and then, like, there's some of these guys like, oh, if you're not from Islington or North London, you're not a real Arsenal fan, or it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like, it doesn't matter at all where you live on this planet. If you like a football club and follow a football club, then you are a fan of that football club. There's no bearing on where you live or anything like that. It's just ridiculous, and and most of these old guys are not from Islington and North London at all. It's just because they've been following them since they were a tiny little kid, more than most people. And it's like, they're such hypocrites. It's like, well, you're not from North London, you're not from Islington. No, but I've been supporting the club since 1971. It's like, well, you're a hypocrite then, aren't you? Because where you're from? Oh, I'm from Southampton. Well, why don't you fucking support Southampton then?
Well, I'm sorry I wasn't fired out of my dad's balls sooner than you were fired out of your dad's balls.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Southampton. Well, why don't you fucking support Southampton then, you prick? That's your local club. If you're talking about, it's how important it is to support your local club, and if you're not supporting your local club, it's not real. I mean, Jesus Christ, all that's just rubbish. But we see that now. We're in a global game now. Everything's global marketing. Everything's all global. So I think the newer generations coming through now, that will disappear eventually. The next two or three generations, all that will disappear.
Although everything you just said is 100% true, because it's what people say. But if someone went to me, why don't you support West Ham? I'd have two answers. I'd go, have you watched them? I mean, yeah, no, they just won trophy. But also, if you think they're so fucking great, why don't you fucking support them?
Exactly.
But
that's funny, all that. It's funny.
Like this tribalism within your own supporter group. And I'm part of it because I think a lot of Leeds fans are idiots. Yeah. So admittedly, I'm not a hypocrite myself. I am part of this problem.
I think it's something within every fan base. Every fan base within a large club has this type of issue.
I'm well aware that could be clipped against me in future, but it could be but then there's 1,000 other clips where I've also said the same thing. A lot of Leeds fans are fucking stupid. So
you're right.
But
I think it's like I said,
we're all fucking stupid. We chose to support Leeds.
Well, the thing is, Tom, it's the same for all clubs. We all have stupid fans with very weird and different points of view. That where some of them don't make any sense whatsoever. That's just the way it is, isn't it? If you're a part of a large club, you're going to have a part of that fan base that just, what are they about? What are they doing?
as I say, Leeds fans, do you want to be massive, or do you just want only people from Leeds to support Leeds?
Well, then you can only have How big
You
is
can't
Leeds?
have both. You can't have both.
Well, how big is Leeds? How many
Within-
people live in the Leeds area? I don't know.
I can Google it right now. Leeds
800,000?
population. According that's very impressive. From the latest census in 2019, 792,525.
I was close.
So impressive, very impressive.
I was close. So call it
but yeah,
plus or minus 800,000.
But yeah, I get your point. It's very like you're selling yourself short if you only want people from Leeds to support Leeds, and then say you're massive. You're not.
Good luck. Good luck trying to get a global, market or trying to get all the millions of pounds you need through marketing and merchandise from 800,000 people. Good luck.
Assuming Leeds get re-promoted, good luck trying to beat Man City with your sponsorship deal from the local shoemaker. Because that's all you'll get if you only want people involved with Leeds. But obviously, I'm just using Leeds as the example that I personally know. But as Sam says, what we're describing probably happens in every single football team.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like it's what we're describing. As silly as this sounds, is human nature. Like I watched the film Oppenheimer yesterday, and with that, I
want to see that. I want to see that.
Is it spoilers to say that the bomb goes off? Is it spoilers? Like, is it too soon? No. Like, I mean, we know what that leads to. But the bigger subtext of that movie is in how they used him against someone that was also their enemy, but then as soon as it became convenient for them, it was, but you're a bit of a communist now, though, aren't you? And and although the Germans didn't like Jewish folk, we don't really like them either. But it was more convenient for us to use you to build something to defeat them, and like that sort of mentality. So my overarching point is that in every tribe of people, they will find ways within that tribe to make other people within that tribe be lesser.
Yep. It's human nature.
Yes, it will always be petty and stupid shit.
It's human nature, Tom. It's called group dynamics.
Yeah.
Within every group of people, you're going to have these different, takes and fractions and things like that, because it just can't be helped. It's just the way a group dynamic within a large group works.
But
I think Colonel's got the wrong end of the stick as usual. I think Colonel quite understood what we were saying.
People will have El Etifak shirts on because Gerard's the manager. No.
It's not what we're saying.
I'll be very surprised if that's the case. Partly because Gerard's popularity only extends to Liverpool.
There's that.
I mean, obviously that's a sizable group of people, but not in the wider context of Lionel Messi.
And what I was saying earlier, just to try and clarify my point, was I said I reckon in about 2 or 3 generations, what's going to disappear is because the younger generations, putting through now much more global, much more accepting of, foreign people, foreign fans of the same team, because football is now global, and we know that it's not just England or your local anymore. It's global. It's all over the world. And I think we're going to grow to accept that because you meet an Arsenal fan from Tunisia or from Japan, it doesn't mean they're less of an Arsenal fan. And I think in 2 or 3 generations, we're going to understand that everyone, and we're not going to have these silly people within our fan base who still think, oh no, you can't support Arsenal because you're from Japan. That's impossible. You know, that's going to disappear.
Yeah, that's. I mean, because obviously racism is a learned behaviour. It's influenced by outside factors that you're exposed to, in my opinion.
Yeah, no,
Obviously, no one comes out of another human being and is immediately that way inclined.
Yeah, you're dead right, Tom. That is a completely different discussion, but I agree with you completely.
Yeah. But I mean, how it feeds into the invisible barriers coming down as such with like fear of outside football. It just so happens to be our football league is the biggest league because of how multicultural it became.
Yeah,
we basically sacrificed a lot of international success in international football to make our day-to-day football league the best in the world.
Yeah, I mean that's a possible argument. I would maybe, you know, have some points to push back on that, but I can see where that comes from.
I mean, my main argument on that though is like how you see like Italy and Spain, the big examples. They had massive success at international level, but ultimately that was because it was born out of players that played for one or two teams. Like Spain took the best players. Spain generally were the best players of Real Madrid and Barcelona. That was Spanish. And the league in general had a higher proportion of players from Spain. So they had a bigger pool of players to pick the best players from, which really, really does well for them at international level. But it doesn't do them the best service when it's like, come and watch our league when Lionel Messi leaves it.
Yeah. No, I can see. I can see your point. I think, you know, I think you see that despite that, what you're talking about, the Premier, you know, England has had several generations of very, very good footballers who have won things quite a lot, actually, at age limited levels, you know, from under 18s up to under 21s. But unfortunately, haven't been able to take that step up to win things, you know, to win finals at the top senior level. But you look at all those players that have been coming through the last 10, 15 years, you know, the England setup is great. It's, you know, as we know, a lot of the problem lies with, you know, the management, the team management around it. But the players, you look at how many great players we could field and how many good players we have in our squad in England, despite what you're saying we have with the Premier League. Because in my opinion, it's sort of the ideology behind it is, yes, it's true, with more foreign influx of players, naturally you have to have fewer English players who are there playing first team football, getting that exposure that they should be getting, yes. But at the same time, the players then that do get to play first team football are at a higher level. You know, they're a more elite. So you're creating more elite players.
But ultimately, there's less of the player
pool.
Is
there's
more.
less of them. Yeah, in numbers, there's less of them. But in my opinion, there's less of them, but they're at a higher level.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it like it's good or bad. I'm just meaning the context of that's a symptom of maybe why Spain were winning and we weren't. Ultimately, we weren't because the players we picked, they didn't gel as a team. It felt like individuals. Like there's not one definitive answer for each of these things. But I do think, again, it is not the responsibility of Manchester United to provide the England team.
No, of course not.
As I hate them, no, their responsibility is to win football games for themselves.
Yes.
Same as Arsenal's responsibility is to Arsenal. Maybe the Premier League, but it's to Arsenal. So, like, to get out of the way. I'm not saying it is specific responsibility of those clubs, although the reality of how football works is they collectively do have to feed the England team, but their responsibility is to themselves.
Yeah, but I think if you look at the quality, of the English players, that have filled up the England squads, going back since back to the late 90s with Michael Owen, 98 and all of that. I think that from that time on, really, especially from the mid 2000s, England have had a good enough squad, a good enough team to win both the World Cup and the European Championships. And I think with better management, we probably would have done that. We would have done it in Russia, I think, and we would have done it now in the Euros last time, I think, with better management. But yeah, no, it's a very interesting question. It is. It's very interesting. Yeah, no, it's a good, fascinating point, really.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I'm not saying I'm definitely right. I know there's more to it.
No,
I know it's not specifically that, but I think
I'm saying there's a lot to what you're saying. There's a lot to what you're saying, because you're right in terms of you bring through larger numbers of local players. Let's call it local players just for the sake of it. You bring through larger numbers, and with that, you're going to have higher quality in numbers. You're going to have more numbers coming through, and there's a lot of benefits to that.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably do this for another hour on this. So I'd like to get on to Colonel's asking something. So somebody said a player is worth what he brings in, and that you shouldn't critique the highest paid player's performance more than anyone else's performance in the team. What's your thoughts on that? That, in my opinion, it's dependent on the money spent on the player, and that's not solely a thing either. It's what is the performance? Is it really bad? Is it average? You'd need an example like Mudryk. Mudryk didn't force Chelsea to pay 80 million on him, but at the same time, I'd be like, they paid 80 million on he himself probably thinks that his performance in the last 6 months of the season, or 5 months, should have been better, I imagine.
It's for me, it's down to what they're individually worth in terms of their skill level, right? I mean, what they've done, what they've achieved, their skill level, potential, age, blah blah blah. Some players are just worth far more than others. That's just the way it is. But you have to critique them equally. I would, I would say it's the other way. I would say Ronaldo there on 1.7 million a week, I would be more critical of him than the rest of the team. I would say, you're the one on 1.7 million. You're supposed to be setting an example. You're the benchmark people want to reach. Sets a good example. Be that benchmark.
Yeah. Obviously, his 1.7 million a week isn't solely based on football.
No, we're talking.
Yeah.
Let's say his wage is still going to be higher than everyone else's, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just mean as in he's not solely. Oh no, of course it is. Of course it is. That's indisputable. But I mean as in they don't just expect him to bang in goals. They want him to represent Saudi Arabia.
It's a brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a brand. But from a footballing perspective, on the field, or day to day on the field, playing football games, I would definitely hold Ronaldo to a higher standard than everyone else, and say, listen, mate, this is what you're getting. This is what you're supposed to be worth. I want you to show that you're worth it. The last thing I'm going to let him do is just slack off and relax and just do an Ozil. No way. He has to live up to that and show that. And there's no equal pay for work. You're not going to have fucking Dean Henderson on the same as fucking Ronaldo. There's just no way. There's no way you can justify that in any way, shape, or form.
I have a response to Colonel's question to a degree, and it's not digging Colonel out because, as Spencer said, it's a good question, very good question. But what I would say is, in terms of you saying they should all be treated equally, is who else would you blame? He's the only player I know on that team.
Yeah.
And it's set up for that to be the case to some degree. Like, who else in a game would you blame? Like, because unless you've watched the game and you know the players' names, who would you blame if it ain't going well?
I'm talking. Yeah. I'm talking
I
from a
couldn't
general
tell you.
perspective.
I couldn't tell, and I don't know what Colonel knows about the team. Is it Al Nassr he plays for? Anyway, but I couldn't tell you another player on that team.
No. But I'm not sure that's what he means. I think he means, should the other players be played equally?
That depends on what is football a meritocracy or is it
exactly? It's not a union job, is it?
Yeah, it is a meritocracy in the format of the game, as in like everyone starts on 0 points. Whoever gets
I think Bronco sums it up quite easily there. Treated equally but compensated differently. I think that's a pretty clear, straightforward way of going. Because different players are worth not every player is worth the same. It's as simple as that. Your what's his name? Luke Ayling is not going to have the same.
That was the example I was going to use.
That's not going to be the same. He's not going to have the same salary or market value as a Casemiro.
The way I was going to describe it is, I bet if Luke Ayling got a move to Saudi Arabia tomorrow, I bet in that dressing room he could bully Cristiano Ronaldo, but he wouldn't be paid anywhere near what Cristiano Ronaldo's earned. He may not have the footballing influence, but as men in a locker room, he could have Ronaldo. But he will still go home and earn 10% of what Ronaldo takes home if he's lucky.
But you're talking in the locker room, he could maybe intimidate him or whatever. Then they put their football boots on, go out onto the field, and then Ronaldo just runs rings around him and laughs at him.
It's exactly what would happen. And I know that because I've seen Luke Ayling play.
And that's why Ronaldo is going to be earning a lot more than Luke Ayling, because Luke Ayling's not going to be able to, even hang on to his fucking bootstraps.
I hope you're enjoying the discussion. BX, excuse me, I was burping then. Still need 11 people with Ronaldo though for me. Like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, this is why football will always be more popular than basketball, because as big as basketball is, and it's a star-led business, and the same way that Ronaldo and Messi are making football, the variables are still greater for different outcomes. As in, there's still 10 other people around Ronaldo, as Colonel was saying, as in he can affect a game, but there's still more things that can happen. Whereas LeBron James, it's just give the ball to LeBron. Just give the ball to LeBron James. Because there's less people out there. So his influence is greater.
I think that's why you see in those sports where you will have one player who can, due to the way the sport is and the dynamics of the sport and the way it's played, you'll have one player who, if he's great, really good, he can really influence the result of a game. Like if you have that guy, you're going to win most of your games. Ergo, you're going to win more. So, with that, you understand a huge amount of monetary value comes with that. That's, it's fully understandable, because if you have a prime Michael Jordan in your team, or a prime Shaquille O'Neal, or like you say, a prime LeBron James, that guy's going to get 200 million because he's basically worth it, and much more in what your team's getting through everything he brings to it. So Yeah,
make
that
it
makes
back in
makes it
shirt.
makes a lot more sense that way. But in football, you have the similar is in terms of their. Yeah, it's quite similar in football. It's just in football, players are less influential. You do still need the other team members to help you out, but you got these guys. Like these guys who are also like set piece specialists and things like that. I mean, the amount of times Messi and Ronaldo have influenced outcomes, through free kicks, penalties, etc. It's not just their outfield normal play. It's that's where they sort of separate themselves from the rest, isn't it? So, that's why these guys are worth more. They win more, they score more, they assist more. They just got more ability, and that's why they're worth more. And I just see Colonel saying basically, yeah, you're right. You still need 11 people with Ronaldo. But he's saying though, for me, don't get me wrong. Yes, Ronaldo deserves because he's accolades, but don't expect me to work as hard as him because I know you have money to burn. Well, you're going to have to work as hard as him. He's the benchmark. There's no coaching team or management team is going to say, "Go on, Colonel, go out there," but only give half what Ronaldo does. And if they see you slacking off and not really giving your all, then that's the
Still
first
bringing
thing I'll
someone
pull
that
you up
doesn't.
on. The first thing I'll pull you up on, I'll say, "Oh, listen, Wardy, you got to start fucking pulling your boots up here, or else you're out of the team." That's as simple as that. I think players understand most part. I think most players understand for the most part what their place is and what their value is, and there's not many players. I mean, okay, I might be wrong, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, I don't think there's many players who think, "Oh, I'm worth the same as him," in terms of like Ronaldo, Messi, the absolute top boys. I don't think there's many who actually think that and would realistically say that.
Bit absurd.
Yeah, I think
mean,
they
you could say
know.
it now in a
Yeah.
transfer fee kind of thing because their age means they can't command transfer fees.
No, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean, though, in terms of.
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course I do. Yeah, I'm
And when
saying
you
that
look,
obviously it's not different than what you're saying. But
and then even when you look at the market now, like Declan Rice for 105 million quid, I think Luke Ayling is going to understand that's not going to be him. Luke Ayling's going to understand that. And I think most players do understand that. Like you say, it's a meritocracy. It's down to what have they done, what is their skill, what is their ability, what do they achieve in a season in terms
what
of
defender's going to get their money?
What numbers have they achieved? And put their numbers on the paper. So yeah, I think most players do understand that, and the ones that don't are the prima donnas, and the ones that we all sort of like don't really like him.
The ones that quickly get questioned, and it's like, well, what have you done to prove that you can earn $500,000 a week?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right.
I thought.
Colonel Ward saying Inter Miami player that lost his job because of okay, but why? I mean, they need more. I need a bit more facts there, Colonel. I don't really understand.
I saw that and I thought, well, who got sacked?
And why? I want to know why.
I mean, I know they have limited spots there.
Well, that's just the way football is, right? If you've got a limited squad number of players, and Messi is going to be your star boys, obviously someone has to give their space. That's just the way it is. But Colonel, if you could explain that a little bit more in detail.
There's a limited number in the Premier League as well.
Yeah.
You name a 25-man squad. I could be wrong in that. I think that 25 doesn't necessarily account for players that are under 21. But generally speaking, if Leeds were in the Premier League, if Leeds had bought Messi in, there would have been a forward player that would have become surplus to requirements. That's football.
Bamford.
No, I've quit. One thing I've learned in football. I tell you this is my opinion, but I think it would be fact. If under Marcelo Bielsa, if Leeds had signed Cristiano Ronaldo in 2021, we would have started the first game that Ronaldo was available. We would have started with Patrick Bamford up front.
Yeah.
The second game would have been Patrick Bamford up front. The third game would have been Patrick Bamford up front, and it would have been, he'd have gone, I like Patrick Bamford. That'd be it. He trusted Patrick Bamford, so he plays him. He's like, Ronaldo's got to earn my trust in murder ball.
Wow. Bielsa's that tough, eh?
Yeah, what a character. What a man.
Yeah, great
I
manager.
wouldn't dare call him a character to his face. I'd be like,
No, great
I'd call him
manager.
sir, obviously. What a man. But
Great manager. I think you guys. Do you regret letting him go?
I do.
Do you think
I do.
Do you think? In your opinion, do you think if he stayed that he would have kept you up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The line I've always consistently gone with is, you'll never prove it, but he got sacked. Bielsa got sacked in a week where we played Tottenham, Man United, and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Jesse Marsh then followed up with Villa, Norwich, and Leicester. It was something like that. And it was like, well, of course Jesse Marsh is going to get more points. He didn't play any of the top six.
Yeah.
But
no, I think Bielsa's a terrific manager.
This is what makes this a great show, because Taib Hussein has the right to say something where he's unequivocally wrong.
Look at Taib. Bielsa's a big bumhole.
That's the only part I have contention with, because obviously I can't prove if he'd have kept us up or not, but I can tell you right now, he is not a big bumhole. He's a great man. So I've got another move to free up space. Yeah, makes sense. What I will say though about Bielsa is, ultimately, we're in the Championship anyway. So if we'd have gone down with Bielsa, it'd have been like, well, at least we'd have the integrity of, we let him finish the season. He could. Yeah, but to be fair, Spencer, we were leaky in the back since we sacked him. So in that respect, nothing changed. So we might as well have kept him and then still played the kamikaze forward style, because under Marsh, Allardyce, who's the other? I've already forgot the Leeds manager's last name. Got Gracia and who was the fucking contingent, the fucking committee we went to Old Trafford with. Oh, it was all like the coaching staff and that. No, yeah, but we got to draw at Old Trafford with whoever like the assistant manager was, all that, right? And as soon as I come offline, all the names have come to me of the coaching stuff. But my point was, since we sacked him, we kept leaking goals and we stopped scoring goals.
Yeah. Which
is obviously the perfect mix you do not want. Yeah, goals dried up when we were fine. Exactly right. We were fearless under Bielsa. Even when we were outmatched, we did not give a fuck. And we were still in faces. We got proper up in faces. We were getting Arsenal players sent off. We were scared. We were scaring the big teams. But now it's like we're getting players sent off against Arsenal. Ridiculous.
No, you guys played some decent football at times under Bielsa.
I couldn't believe what I was watching. It's like when I watch old footage now of the Bielsa Leeds team, it's like I'm watching a different team.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this before we go on to other stuff and stuff you all like because it's Arsenal. But when Bielsa's first game against Stoke in 2018, I sat down to watch it, and we scored early in the game, like the first 15 minutes, and I've never seen anything like it. Because I thought this is either going to go really well or really badly, and he'll be sacked within 2 months. Because he'll go, I've had enough of this shit, and fuck off. But it was just like, wait, we're passing the ball. We're keeping the ball. We want the ball. And then as soon as we lose the ball, we fucking go and get it back. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this football I'm watching? Like, actually watching football. Like, because usually it's just kick and run, boring, whatever. It was like, are we becoming good to watch? But yeah,
I watched a few Leeds games in that first season you guys were up in the Premier League, and it was entertaining.
We're even in the conversation of the best team ever in the Championship, not points wise, because obviously like there's like a Reading team that got 106 points, but I bet we were better to watch than that Reading team that just wouldn't ship goals in, presumably.
Yeah,
and then would just keep the ball like boring stuff. I don't know. Obviously, it's like 2006 or something, but just. He made you proud of your football team, because that's what he wants. Is the coach of Uruguay, who unsurprisingly, Sam, in the first game that he played, they won 4-1. Because of course they did.
Well, he's a football genius, isn't he? He's a football genius. He really is. So, we don't really need to say a lot more about him, really.
Yeah.
Fantastic manager, and I agree with you, Tom. I think letting him go was a wrong move for Leeds. I agree, because it's not always clubs get that knee jerk, worried reaction. Oh, let's change, and very often it doesn't work. Right, really often it doesn't work, and you saw Nottingham Forest stuck with what's his face, Steve Cooper. And that worked out okay for them in the end. It's you gotta stick with the guy, and because he should be able to get you back out. But yeah, it is what it is. You got that Farker now.
Yeah. Oh, that's a sensible appointment. Like, I've no complaints about it. It's the best of what we could have got, because it would have either been Scott Parker or Patrick Vieira. Nothing against Patrick Vieira, but my point is that. It's a gamble taking Patrick Vieira compared to a guy that's already won the Championship twice. I didn't want Cardigan, man. I did not want... Scott Parker's got out the Championship twice as well, but I do not want his fucking Cardigans at Ellen Road.
Keep your Cardigans away, Scotty.
Yeah. Well, because... I mean, at the end of the day, he must have had the worst year ever, because he lost 9-0 at Anfield. And then he basically stands there and goes, the ball haven't backed me. He basically bitched out the ball, which you can admire his honesty and how he feels, and I can't take that away from him. But then they immediately sack him, and then they survive with the first team coach as manager or whatever.
He's not a top level manager. He can't be a top level manager.
But then he went to Club Brugge. He became Club Brugge manager, it was the first ever Club Brugge team to have qualified for the second round of the Champions League. For some reason, their manager left or was sacked or whatever.
Yeah.
And he managed to basically not win the league and get immediately knocked out of the Champions League by, I think it was Benfica. Big
touch of death. The touch of death. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Bournemouth survived. Exactly. And I'm so glad we got Farker, because he doesn't look like he suffers fault. The thing is that I hate with all football managers and any situation is when they do a press conference and people go, "We spoke well." It's like they all speak well. They all say the right things. They're not stupid people. He knows. Like, I can tell you the script right now for when the new Leeds manager comes in, big club, massive club, should be doing better. Get the fans behind us, great fans, get the fans behind us. Need to make Ellen Road a fortress. Like, I can write this script. They all say it, because it's always the same thing. And then in 4 months, when we get a new manager, it becomes big club, fortress, needs to be doing better. get Pam Anderson in as physio. Something like, I don't know. So, but generally, same thing. And everyone got, he spoke well. It's like, so did Graffia. So did Sam Allardyce. Actually, that's debatable. But so did Bielsa. So did, actually, Bielsa didn't even speak a lick of English in that one. He does speak English, though. That was the great, his true mark of genius is how he realised that you have to, obviously it's in the contract, you have to do interviews for the Premier League, right? But if they think you can't speak English, you just get your translator to say yes, no, and you're gone. It's exactly what happened. Even Bamford in interviews sat there and was basically like, yeah, he speaks perfect English to us. Premier League were watching it, because then he just sits there like, I used to call him and the translator, you know, the young lad. You must remember this. I used to call him Morecambe and Wise because trundle out, and it'd be and then he'd go yes, no, no, and it's like brilliant because his interview would be done in 30 seconds. While like Moyes is like Hodgson doesn't want to be there, and he's like, "You taking the piss?" He's getting into an argument with him, and Bielsa's like, "I'm gone."
Yeah, very good manager.
I still love when we won at Man City with 10 men, and the interview where his glasses, he's so happy and laughing so much that his glasses are wonky.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even notice that his glasses are not on his face properly. And he's just like, I can't believe we won.
Yeah, remember that.
And Pep Guardiola is like, I don't know how we lost. I don't know how we lost. But I've never seen Pep Guardiola so happy to lose a football match. He was like, he's basically, I'm so glad Marcelo beat me.
No, because I think that game had a bit of everything, didn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of excitement in it.
Championship level managers that don't work in the Premier League, do you account the personality level manager? Obviously, it is partly due to, in his defence, it is partly that they didn't spend any money. So you are basically telling him to sort of stay in the Premier League with a championship level team. But then that was a championship level team that was far too good for the championship. So it depends how you see it. But no, I don't think he would have improved us particularly. I could be wrong. He could still end up being the Leeds manager this time next year. Because the worse you start doing, the pool of managers that are available to you gets a lot smaller. Especially when your team had 4 managers in 1 year. It's not like the pool of available quality managers gets larger.
No. I miss Bielsa. I must admit, I miss Bielsa. I really do.
Just oh, what a man! He once got upset because the plug socket in one of the rooms at the training ground, they'd put the plug socket in a place that he felt was inefficient for the players. So he kicked fuss up about it and had it moved. Because he was like, he had beds installed, because he was like, if my players are not so tired that they can't sleep here, then they haven't worked hard enough in training.
What a guy.
Just, I mean, in lockdown.
Different breed.
In the lockdown, because he couldn't go back to Argentina, so he was still in his one bedroom flat, which was above a sweet shop, and the club had to put out a press release asking people to stop bringing in food.
And a real nice connection with the community as well, didn't he? Yeah.
Because everyone was so worried that he wasn't eating, he wouldn't be able to eat, that they'd bring him food, and he would always accept it because he was too polite to say like, I've already got 84 pots of food. So, but the club had to put out a thing that they're arranging for the canteen, the canteen lady, the chef, to sort his food out for him.
Yeah.
But and they went when he came back, they for the sake of conversation, they went to him like, "Oh, what have you been doing in your 3 months, Marcelo?" Thinking he was going to say, "Oh, I watched some films." He went, "I was watching footage of Alfie McCalmont." They went, "What do you mean?" He was a player for Leeds under 23s at the time, but back when the youth team was under 23s. Yeah. What do you mean? He was like, "Well, I wanted to gauge if he was good enough to like make the step up into the first team." They were, what? He was like, "Yeah, I was watching." A similar story. Forest Green Rovers, who were non-league at the time Bielsa joined, said they got the most absurd request. Marcelo Bielsa asked for footage of Forest Green Rovers.
Mm.
They went, "Why do you need footage of us?" He went, "Well, because we're playing you in a friendly in 2 weeks and I want to be prepared." They were like, "What? We don't have footage. What?"
Yeah.
They were like, "Marcelo Bielsa's asking for games footage of us." And it was a friendly.
Yeah.
But what man?
That shows you how seriously he takes it.
Yeah.
And that's why he's been a very successful manager, for many clubs. So
yeah,
good luck to the guy.
A lot of people hate him. A lot of people hate him. A lot of football fans do not get it. They just won't accept that trophies isn't everything in football.
Wow.
For example, you're all the people that are like, Pep is the greatest football manager ever. He learned everything he knows from Marcelo Bielsa.
Yeah, I know. Bielsa was a very influential person for Pep Guardiola.
Bielsa told him what to do when he first became a manager. Bielsa was like, "You're going to need." He sat with him in a room for like 7 hours and went, "You're going to need to do this, 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 and this, and this." And everyone's like, but then there are people that love Pep who'll be like, "Oh, but Bielsa's nothing. He's not won the Champions League or that." It's like, yeah, but your favourite manager taught him how to win the Champions League. Or your favourite manager learned from him. So I worded that poorly, but
bang on.
Just he's. Did you end up to pivot right away from Bielsa? Because I know some people could not stomach that he got nominated for FIFA Manager of the Year based on winning the championship. They were like, "Well, why isn't Daniel Farke getting nominated for it?" It's like, because Daniel Farke didn't invent football. I know that's an absurd big statement, but you know what I mean. As in, Daniel Farke didn't invent a brand of football that the top managers are using, sort of thing. I know that sounds laughable, but FIFA obviously think there was something to it.
Yeah. No.
He didn't win, so I don't get why it matters. He was not going to. Of course, Jurgen Klopp was going to win it.
I'll tell you what. I actually missed. I said before, I actually miss Bielsa because he was such a character and he really knew what he was doing. I'd love to have seen him with, another big team again. See if we could get out of a big team.
He turned down the West Ham job before the Leeds job because he didn't like their owners. He didn't want to sit in the room with the Dildo brothers, basically.
Oh, rather. Oh. They've got a terrible reputation, that Sullivan mob. Oh, terrible.
I think he allegedly handed them a piece of paper and it had basically everyone's name on it, apart from 2 players. And they went, "What's this?" He went, "Those are the players I'd need you to sell." And it was basically if you bring me in, you're going to need to buy a new team.
Yeah.
And obviously they weren't prepared to do it, so they didn't take it. But they basically he went. But obviously with our job, he basically was like, "Yeah, I can get football out of these players." Yeah. Because obviously the task was different. He had to keep West Ham in the Premier League, and he didn't think he could do it in those players. Whereas he had to try and get Leeds into promotion contention was basically the job. Because I cannot understate how bad we were. We were mid-table championship, like local championship. We were so bad and boring. Just crap. And he took most of those players and got the best out of them. Ask this question: has anyone ever sat in the room for 7 hours with Big Sam?
Are we talking Sam Allardyce now, or what are you talking about?
I believe so. I believe it's Allardyce.
All right, no idea.
It would actually be quite easy because you could just fall asleep with your eyes open because he'd only talk about Big Sam. So
Yeah.
once you like, I got what he meant when he was saying he's every bit as like successful as like Arteta, and I got what he meant. But obviously, he knew it was going to be taken out of context and get everyone saying that he's as successful as them. Because in his mind, if Big Sam is hired to keep teams in the league, and he has more often than he hasn't, then he is successful.
Yeah.
In his mind.
Yeah. No,
he failed with Leeds. Like, he failed, but I don't get how he could have succeeded.
No, I think getting rid of Bielsa was the wrong thing. Should have stuck with him.
Before we go, what I want to bring up, because I know you watched at least a bit of it, what did you make of England ladies today?
I only saw the first half. How did it end up?
They won 1-0.
Oh, okay, so I saw the goal then. Yeah, no, I thought it was pretty lackluster, terrible, to be honest. I mean, the first half, I don't think England looked very good at all. They looked a bit lethargic, like that typical sort of attitude where you think you won the game already, before you kicked off. I think they underestimated Haiti a lot. Haiti looked quite good in periods. That first half, they actually had some decent play and looked pretty strong. So, and all the penalties, bloody hell. All the VAR stuff, it was ridiculous, wasn't it? It was like they were desperate to give England a penalty.
Yeah.
And they managed to get that goal. And was it 1-0 at half time? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the penalty retake, wasn't it? It was 1-0. Because they got to retake a penalty as well, of course. So no, it's just I just thought England they weren't looking good. I mean, after that. Even after the penalty goal, it looked like Haiti could create something. They were, attacking quite well and, getting into the England box. But obviously not quite as same pedigree as England overall. But I thought, I don't know what England looked like in the second half. If they improved, hopefully they did. But that first half, it looked very lackluster to me.
I personally felt the England ladies team treated the Haiti ladies team with no respect. I thought they felt like they only needed to turn up, which was this, but they fell asleep enough times that if you had played a team smidgen more, you would have been punished. And you didn't get punished, but it was only because they kept hitting the ball at the goalkeeper. If they'd have gone on either side of Mary Earps, Haiti would have scored. And I was very disappointed, but I was more disappointed when I went onto Twitter and basically saw people going, England did great today. It was like, no, they didn't. What are you fucking like? Yeah, they did great in the context that a win's a win. Like, we got the points. But it was fucking atrocious. Yeah, we had like 25 shots and half of them were off target. And it was very like when England play Andorra. I'll tell you, England play Andorra, and because the midfielders think that they now have opportunities to get on the score sheet, whenever they get within 30 yards of goal, they have a crack at goal.
Yeah.
And it felt very, you're all queuing up to score, but you're not hitting the target. So stop trying the way you're trying. I think some of the football in general has been quite exaggerated thus far. Like people telling me matches are really good when they were 1-0 decided by a penalty.
I was surprised Norway lost to New Zealand
That was surprising.
because I thought Norway were better than that. Because Norway's got, I don't know how fit they are, but they've got Hegerberg back. I don't know how good she is now, but she used to be the best player in the world. They got Mornham from Arsenal, who normally bangs in goals, but she couldn't hit anything I saw against New Zealand. And then they got that Graham Hansen, who's very good, very technical, very quick. And it's like, if you can't get those three players to score goals for you, then what chance have you got? I mean, they are three elite top players that Norway have for ladies. They just can't get them to do anything. The coaching seems to be terrible for Norway. That's always been an issue since they, basically that last generation now or 2 generations ago that won everything. Since then, it's like all the coaching's just gone to shit.
I get the sense with Norway, from what I've seen, 2 things. Firstly, obviously, I think they got overawed by the host nation on the day. Like the atmosphere and things like that got to them.
Yeah.
I also think just that Norway were very good in an era when no one else took it seriously, apart from America. So it feels like everyone's caught up and surpassed them. Yeah.
I mean, overall, the team, I mean, I'm not expecting Norway to get far or anything like that. But against New Zealand, I was expecting them to win. And I was just expecting to see goals from those 3 players up front who, you know, they're 3 very accomplished players. I would expect to see goals from them, but nope.
Do you feel it was similar today in that they thought they just had to turn up and they was going to win?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of that. I think there's a bit of that involved as well, yeah. But, it just wasn't good enough.
I just want to put it out there. So it said, it's like, my mission isn't to degrade or denigrate ladies' football. My thing is, if I see things that are good, I will say they are good.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to this. I'm going to say that everything is wonderful because it's my responsibility to promote the game of women's football. If you want to be treated equally, I'm going to treat you equally, which means pointing out things that were not of good quality.
Yep.
I notice in the punditry in England, there is a reluctance to point out bad play because it's almost like you're giving ammunition to the people that are against it. And it's like, no, if you treat it more as in inspiring people to get better, because I don't think you inspire people to get better by telling them their mistakes are fine.
No, you're right.
In that arena, as in. It's very like you're talking about it, not you personally, but people talk about it as if to go like, it's like telling the disabled kid they did really well when they didn't.
Yeah.
Like it's that sort of mentality, as in like, oh yeah, we can't upset him, but it's like, but they're not disabled; they're very capable individuals.
Yeah.
And professionally paid in England's case.
Yeah.
But. Move on. Like, if England go and win their next game 8-0, I will sit here and go, well done. You were supposed to win 8-0, and you did. So I'm not going to criticise you, sort of thing. Yeah.
You're right. No, you got to, I mean, if they want to be, another thing is they want to be taken seriously now, right? I mean that in the best, I don't mean that in a derogatory way.
Of course.
You know, they want to be taken seriously. They want the same pay, all of this. You know, so you got to, you know, that's it. You got to show that you're worth it, right? You got to show that you know you can do that. And for me, I think women's football has come a long way. It's a lot better.
Oh, of course it has. Of course it
has.
A
lot better than what it was 5 or 10 years ago. Absolutely, and in many ways, it's better to watch than. I mean, I would rather watch some of these women's games than like a low level. You know, like League 2 or League 1 men's game any day, because with the women's football, there's normally a lot more action involved. You know, there's a lot more things going on, and It's more entertaining to watch. There's more
Yes.
from a neutral perspective. You don't really have anything involved in any of the teams playing. You're going to see a lot more action, a lot more entertainment, and that's what I like with the women's game. There's a lot more going on, and the players are getting better and better. Like I said, they're more and more skillful now. They can do a lot more. Like I said, those 3 Norwegian players I mentioned, they're very skillful, especially Graham Hansen. She's really, really skillful. I mean, she can do a lot of the stuff the guys can do, and it's great, more power to them, So, so what that means then is we are allowed to criticize them. And, like you say, Tom, if they're not living up to what we expect, then they need to take, they need to be able to take that like the men do.
Exactly. Like, are you aware of a concept called hate watching?
Hate watching.
When you watch something.
Yeah.
It's when you watch something specifically for the purpose of criticizing it, or because you want to slag it off.
Sounds like yeah.
Like wrestling fans do it all the time. They watch it knowing they're going to hate what they see. Like people hate watch movies because they know they're going to hate it.
Yeah.
I want to make it clear, I do not hate watch women's football. I will watch it when it's available to watch. Like, I like that I can now watch women's football on BBC and ITVX. I watch ITVX on over the internet, but I want it to be good. I don't watch things wanting to not be entertained by them. And I understand you can't always be entertained in a sporting contest. Their responsibility is not to entertain me. Their responsibility is to win.
Yeah.
I understand that. But by the same token, if you're going to tell me that something that is subpar is good just because you feel the obligation to promote it as an entity, you are wrong. And you're doing a disservice to the sport of women's football. Yeah. Because then you'll be like, why aren't people taking it seriously? Like, because you're not taking it seriously if you're telling me everything about it is amazing.
Yeah.
But
no, key points there, key points.
I don't think you're respecting it if you're telling me it's always great.
No.
Because men's football's not always great.
No, far from it. Far from it.
What I find a lot of people do with women's football is the equivalent of me sitting here and trying to convince you that Burnley versus Watford at 5:15 on Saturday night is an amazing spectacle to watch.
And here I am thinking I would probably rather watch a women's game.
There you go.
Yeah.
If Burnley versus Watford impacted Leeds United to an indirect degree, then I'd probably watch it because it involves my football club. But as you say, if Chelsea were playing them, put it another way, if Arsenal were playing Chelsea in a top of the table clash in the Women's Super League and it was on BBC, and Burnley were playing Watford on Sky, and it had no real impact on Leeds, I'd probably watch the women's football.
Yeah, I would. And that's not just for the Arsenal thing. I'm just saying for the entertainment value. I would get far much more entertainment out of watching the women's game.
Well, because I know those two women's teams try and win football matches.
Yeah.
That end of the table, they try to win, whereas I know Watford and Burnley historically try not to lose football matches, and I just think it'd be more turgid.
No,
that's the reputation it has outside of that anyway. We all look at that fixture as if to go, ugh.
Yeah, you're right.
Some Arsenal fans love hate watching.
Yeah, I was thinking of him when you said that. Because he's that boy has just decided, even though it's supposed to be his club, I'm not completely, what's it called?
That's about making money, though, isn't it?
I'm not convinced Arsenal is his club, really, but apparently it is. And but he just won't find anything positive at all. Oh God!
That's because there's no money in positive YouTube in terms of football.
Oh, people want embarrassing.
People who are also like. Best way to put it, people who are also having issues with the way your season was trending from April, trending backwards, let's say. Not by a lot, in my opinion, but obviously to a lot of Arsenal fans, it was a big deal, as in we're now second. And like, so there were people that were also angry. So he capitalises on that by basically going, "I'm angry," and because there are Arsenal fans that are also not happy with it, they're like, "Yeah, he's right." It's like,
well, I'm also convinced that the majority of the people who regularly watch his show aren't Arsenal fans. He's, because they love, the rival fans love to go in there and join him, in hating on Arsenal. They really do.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I do think he's just tapped into a lot of frustration.
Oh yeah, he's tapped into that niche of the people who who are frustrated with Arsenal. There's a lot of them, and then he's got a lot of the rival fans and other fans as well who lump on that as well. And he's carved out his own little part of the YouTube world there, where that's very very effective, and he gets a lot of views and obviously makes a little bit of money out of it. So that's what he's managed to carve out. But it's just pathetic to watch him. First of all, he flip-flops so much. He changes his viewpoint and his opinion so often, and then and then all of a sudden everything was great, hunky dory. We were winning the league, but as soon as we dropped into second, that was it. He just gave up completely, and everything was all a complete disaster again. And it's like not even happy with getting second in the league. Like that's nothing. It's just pathetic.
Well, it's like on the Stoop, for example, there was a perception, or I felt there was a perception, that I was coming off as the negative Leeds fan. But in my defence, we were 19th. I'm allowed to be pissed off at how my team is performing. Because we're like you were second from top. We were second from bottom.
Yeah.
But then I'd have other Leeds fans going, "Be more positive." Like, I don't want to hear all this shit. It's like, what am I supposed to say? We're not winning football matches.
Oh God.
I don't have much reason to talk about it. Hello, Ryan.
Big up, Ryan.
Ryan, I didn't realise your game was 10 p.m. till earlier. So, yeah, I probably will be popping on, if that's all right, to discuss the festivities. I didn't want to ignore Colonel's question, but obviously we was discussing sales, so I thought I'd bring it up now. What's the score prediction for tonight's friendly?
It's always difficult with a friendly when you're playing like a team like United, because they've got a few decent players. Things are not going to be like a normal game, are they? So difficult to say, but I just think we've got if we show anything like we did again the other night, I think we just seem to have more going for us at the moment. Things seem to be flowing a bit more. So I would say we win tonight. I would say Arsenal win, not by much, maybe 2-1. I'm thinking a 2-1 victory to Arsenal tonight.
How much stock do you put in these sort of friendlies, Sam?
Not much. Very little. I like to see the friendlies in terms of see some players, the new players, how they play together. What positions they're getting, and basically see the fitness levels rise. See they're able to do more and more. The friendlies don't really mean anything. They really don't. Of course, it would be nice to not lose every friendly. Of course, it doesn't feel good. It does give you a little bit of a confidence boost if you win, your last friendly or two before you play a real game. But overall, I think the friendlies don't really give me that much. But it's nice. Of course, it's always nice as an Arsenal fan to be able to watch a game and against a team that we normally play twice a season, but over there it'd be different. It'd be different now. It'd be under friendly circumstances, not friendly so friendly as in we like each other, but you know what I mean. It could be we're probably going to be using squad players and things like that. So it'd be interesting to see. I think, like I said, I just think we've got a bit too much in us in the moment compared to them. I think we're a much better team at this time than they are. So I think we're going to win.
The only thing I really have against this friendly, right, is it's a match that happens at least twice a season. Like I think friendly should be like teams you don't tend to play.
Yeah.
Like the novelty of it. I think there's no novelty to this other than where it is.
Yeah. It's an exhibition game, right? So it's like, oh, we're playing a Premier League game, basically, but we're showing it to you over here in this part of the world.
Yeah. Like I understand why it's happening. Just like my example, what I thought was a good idea for a friendly competition would be like, they used to do like the Champion Series. I think that's what they called it, International Champion Series or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Where like you'd get Arsenal versus Barcelona.
Yeah, we're going to play them next. We're going to play them next.
Oh, right. Well, fair enough. But but you would not see Man United versus Liverpool in Dallas.
Yeah.
It'd be Man United versus Juventus. And
I agree. I think
you could argue this is going to be matches you see in the Champions League, but that's a could.
I agree with you. I'd love to play, a team that we've like a team we've never played before. I'm sure there's an MLS team that would like to play us who we've never played before, or some other team from South America maybe who could have made the trek up to America to play us or whatever. I've always fancied seeing us play one of the big Argentinian or Colombian teams, like a Vélez Sarsfield or a Boca Juniors or one of those. I mean, that'd be fantastic to see us play one of them, or one of the Brazilian clubs. There's a few Brazilian clubs I've always wanted to see us play, just for the sake of you playing a Brazilian club, with all the history and all of that, all the great players many of these clubs have had, like playing against a Grêmio or a Botafogo or one of these clubs, what they're called, Palmeiras. No, what's it called?
Yeah.
Palmeiras.
Yeah.
These classic Brazilian clubs. I'd love to play against one of them as well, but anyway, we're getting United.
Wanted to say welcome to the Iconoclast one. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Part of the reason I think you generally don't see friendlies with the South American teams is because of the sheer number of games that they play.
Yeah.
I've played as a Brazilian team on Football Manager, and basically they have two leagues that run, like when one finishes halfway through the year, the other one starts, like the state championship, and then basically you can play like 50 games a season in Brazil, and that's not even including the Copa Libertadores sort of thing. Yeah. So that's partly why I think it doesn't happen, but I agree it should. Like I say, just the novelty of it must be just boring playing Man United again in the summer, and you're doing it for profit, obviously. You're not doing it as good as your heart. Like there's everyone wins financially in the situation, obviously. But I just mean the novelty of playing someone you don't play. But yeah, so thank you. Mr. Arsenal podcast is agreeing with me. Well, thank you for admitting to your drug habit live on the internet, because don't usually. Yeah. So disclaimer: he's not really on drugs, but for the purpose of my FBI agent that watches me, it's called a joke. Boca Juniors versus Arsenal. Mexico does that as well.
That'd be a cracking game.
Chelsea have agreed to have Kudos.
Well, they're going to take another one of our targets.
Apertura and Clausura. Yes, that's two stages of the Argentine Premier League, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, BX, I thought Arsenal were in for him. You thought wrong. No, I don't know. I just wanted to do it. Wrong. Unless it turns out Arsenal are in for him, and then I can turn around to BX and go, liar! No, I don't know.
You got it wrong, boy.
Yeah, you're a long way from home if you think Arsenal have agreed terms for that player. But,
he's just the best. The best there is.
The best. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh, we've got to get out of here before Donald arrives fully. The Don, the true Don, because Don Robbie's a lot of things, but he's never ever codded his way into the presidency.
Don
Sorry,
Robbie.
I
Who's
say
Don
Don.
Robbie?
Sorry,
Don't know who Don
Sorry.
Robbie is.
sorry.
Don
Sorry,
Robbie sounds like
in
a
my
loser.
political leanings.
Sounds like a loser. Don Robbie's a loser, just like
Yes,
you are,
I have.
Tom. You're a loser, Tom. Loser leads. We don't
That's
like
true.
losers around here. Ivanka just told me she told me you're a loser. We don't like that.
Some
But
teams
the best,
just
this is the
doesn't.
best podcast with the best people in the chat, and the best, which is the best that Jared Kushner just told me right now, with the best. Fauci just talking in my ear now, saying how much we're just the best. And when you're the best, you're the best. You can't really do much about that. It's just we're looking into it right now, and that's what we're doing.
What's your opinion on the Electoral College, Don?
The Electoral College. It sounds like is that somewhere you go and learn how to do mathematics? I don't know. I don't know. I'll just have to talk to my staff about that. I'll talk to Jared about that. I got Ivanka on that. She'll tell me something about that later on. But no, it's just the best right now. So I'll just tell you the best is the absolute best there is. Absolutely. And that's just the way it is. Fauci, he knew the best way of approaching COVID. And Jared, he's the best with money. Ivanka, she looks great with makeup on. And she's just the best. You just can't get away from that. And Don Robbie, he's not a Don Robbie. His name's Loser Robbie. Loser AFTV. This is the best channel right here. This is the road trip. The road trip here where we get on a road trip. And we normally drive off road because Tom's driving. Tom, you drive terrible. We can't let you drive anymore.
The worst.
You're the worst driver. You don't have a driver's license. You got one of those Starbucks cards or whatever. You drive on that.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you got. But Ivanka told me that this is the best place to come and drive. You get to where you're going really quickly, and this is just the best. And we've got the best people in the chat. We got Spencer. He's a coal miner. We don't like coal miners. They're dirty. And we got BX. He's up on the roof somewhere, working up on the roof. Shut up, Tom. I'm the president.
Answer Colonel's
Shut up, Tom.
question,
I'm the president. Shut up, Tom. I'm the president. We got.
Sorry, Mr.
We got
President.
BX on the roof. How many nails you got in the roof there now, BX? We got Iconoclast. I don't know what that is. It sounds like something you do in a hospital. We got Ryan from the Mr. Arsenal podcast. Big up Tony Adams is in the chat here. Tony Adams. I heard Tony Adams is a pretty good guy. Apparently he's the best. Ivanka told me that the other day, together with Jared.
Dancing.
And
I'd like to quickly answer BX Colonel Ward's question. Barcelona and Brazil on the 22nd of April 1999 played out a 2-2 draw.
Well, that's 15 seconds I'm going to want back at the end of my life.
Understandable.
Let's see, Bronco. I don't listen to coal miners. They're dirty little bastards. Right. So what are we doing, Tom? What are we doing? This is the best. I'm going to hand it over to the best host, the host with the most. He likes a ghost with a piece of toast. What do you say, Tom?
Wow. Well, that is. Did you know Arsenal played France on 14th of February 1989? Arsenal beat France 2-0.
I'm on pills. They're the best pills. Dr. Fauci gave them to me yesterday. They're the absolute best pills. They got a funny little blue thing on them. But I'm on pills, Tom, so I don't know. I don't know what happened 5 hours ago. So I can't tell you when Arsenal played France or anything like that, okay? I just know that we're the best.
Sorry,
Ivanka's coming later on. She's gonna do a nice little lunch for me. And this has just been the best, okay? It's the best.
And Don, how's the porridge?
What porridge was you talking about? What porridge is that? What's porridge? Is that something you Brits say?
It's the porridge, of course.
My God, the porridge.
I'll answer your question. The reason they played was...
Is it because Dr. Fauci told them to?
I believe it was basically because England were banned from Europe at the time and there was a lull in fixtures. So Arsenal took the opportunity to play a team with players outside of...
I just fully agree with Tony Adams in the chat here. Tony Adams, the Mr. Arsenal podcast. He said we're going to build a great wall around Leeds. If we have to build around Leeds, that's where we're going to build it. It's going to be the best wall there ever was. And we're going to build it around the worst club there ever was, Leeds United.
Also, speaking of worst club, Leeds 0, Monaco 2 is the latest score approaching the 90th minute.
Oh, I told you you'd lose that game because I'm the best at predicting games. I'm just the best. That's something Neil deGrasse Tyson told me the other day when I went for my yearly horoscope. Anyway,
that makes sense. That 100% makes sense. I don't know why I even question you, Don. To be honest,
what's Taib saying? Taib says when a doctor's a doctor,
does the doctor doing the doctoring doctor as the doctor being doctored want to be doctored, or does the doctor doing the doctoring doctor as he wants to be doctor? He obviously wants the doctor.
I think Taib needs to stay away from the wacky backy. Those sheesh pipes are getting a bit strong down there.
Yep, and the crack. Always avoid the crack.
Avoid the crack.
Yeah. So I think it's time for us to put the road trip into a bit of a break due to the fact that, well, we seem to have survived long enough without getting Gary thrown off the air. I'm sure we will hear a detailed report. Hey Tom, is the stoop still going on? I believe it is undergoing a retooling and will be back in time for the new season. That's my understanding. And Mr. Tom, I thought I was master of useless information. I'll let you have that title. And
congratulations, Tom.
And someone called Hayes also scored. Thank you. I will praise from Caesar, isn't it really? Caesar himself.
Yes. Good job Monaco won today, though.
Because I never get praise from the Don.
No, you can't get praise from him. No,
you absolute fucker. Cult leader didn't realise, and then I thought Leeds would become the new Man United when they were in the Champions League. Or you fucking tight.
Yes, what is this? I was in Leeds today. We win 2-0.
I'm choking with rage. I'm choking on my own rage here.
No, you're not. You're trying to do another David Carradine.
What, in the cupboard this time?
In the cupboard. What is this? 2-0 to Monaco, well deserved. I will do you a favor, Mr. Tom. We burn down Leeds, burn down Ellen Road, burn it, make it nice gardens instead. We grow new trees, and that's what we do. Then I go back to Monaco and I go into my yacht. Yeah, but I'm not taking Patrick Bamford. He don't get to go.
I wonder how many penalties he would score under VAR in the Women's World Cup, because every game adds penalties in it, it feels like. And how many of them would he miss?
Good question.
All of them, probably.
He probably would miss most of them, yeah. Jesus.
But yeah, Sam, is there anything you'd like to say to your audience?
Let me think just one little second first. It's been emotional. It's been an emotional ride.
Yeah.
It's been a beautiful trip on our road trip today. We let Tom drive for a little bit. We went off road. as we always do, because Tom can't drive.
It's true.
I think we can get back on sturdy course, going in the right direction. And I think we had a nice discussion here today. I think we've touched on some very good points. We actually had some decent, serious talking points today, which is always good. And we've had a nice bit of banter and a bit of enjoyment as well, which is good. I want to thank everyone in the chat for taking part. You guys are great. It's always great to see you guys here. Don't want to say all your names because you know who you are. You're always here. You're always taking part. We really appreciate that. You make the show what it is, so we can have a bit of fun together. Hit the like button if you haven't done it. It always helps the show become a bit more exposed. So hit the like button. And yeah, I think Arsenal hopefully will beat United today. Later on, we'll see how that goes. And I want to say to everyone, have a great rest of your Saturday. Have a great rest of your weekend. And remember, when you go to bed, keep your arms above the blanket. Okay? Don't use those nasty little arms of yours to masturbate. That's bad. Okie dokie. Thank you very much for me, and have a great weekend.
I couldn't have said it better myself, but I'm going to try. No, I'm only joking. No, seriously, thank you everyone. Seriously, it means a lot that when Gary is off doing whatever he does in Gary World, which happens to be meeting up with Ray from the Arsenal Fan Circle, I believe, I appreciate that people still drop by to watch a show knowing that Gary won't be on it. It's still nice to know people they want to see the DWTT channel, the brand, the road trip, regardless who was on it, and 50 episodes of this special Saturday show.
50 episodes.
50th. Yeah, so well done to everyone.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's almost like it's a milestone. I'll say it's almost a milestone. It is a milestone. So yeah, thank you for your support. And as Sam said, the Holy Trinity, like, share, and subscribe. I'll never even say that on my own show. Just saying for Gary's sake, innit? I hope Gary has a great time. I hope you get a result that will be memorable for the Arsenal fans that are getting to see Arsenal in a rare occasion. Mainly because I hate Man United. Fuck them. Even the friendly, fuck them. Oh, I hate that club so much. If Man United was a person, I'd fucking choke it. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway. Have a good week, everyone. And remember, life is a journey. Don't waste the trip. Enjoy the ride. And I will see you next time.